Now that's a good one. A 1960 rock instrumental called Demolition by none other than the famed session band, The Wrecking Crew. This is Architecture 360 on Rivet Radio. I'm Lee Bay, and there's no better note to begin today's show. Preservation Chicago recently announced its yearly list of the city's 7 most endangered places, and joining me to talk about some of the items on that list is the group's executive director, Ward Miller. Ward, just to jump right in, why do a list like this? What good does it do?
Yeah, what good are they? Yeah, no, we love our Chicago 7, Lee. This is an opportunity for our organization to highlight some buildings that really need the spotlight on them and really need maybe a shot in the arm. We try to highlight some buildings that we feel that are in peril. We feel like a little attention to a building that might be in trouble might really help it a lot.
Now, you've got a synagogue on your list, a closed synagogue, Agudas Hakim North Shore over at 5029 North Kenmore. Now, what's the story there?
Yeah, Agudas Hakim North Shore congregation is just one of those fabulous synagogues. It was considered one of the last of the great synagogues, and really a remarkable building by Dubin and Eisenberg, and situated on a residential street in Uptown. It's almost a surprise when you come down the street because you're expecting these beautiful apartment buildings and houses, and then you see this stark cream-colored brick building that just has a certain presence and massiveness there. The building has suffered from deferred maintenance, water infiltration issues and birds flying around, but yet even in its decay, Lee, it has the most magnificent sanctuary that you could imagine, and it's got a bema platform with an art case that's covered in Italian mosaic tiles that just shimmers. It's a jewel box. I mean, a building of this size and this type is a little difficult to maintain, especially when it's had a history of deferred maintenance. It just makes the challenges greater.
Another notable entry on the list is the main building on the Illinois Institute of Technology campus, IIT. This is the 1890s red brick building at 33rd Street that is quite visible from the Dan Ryan Expressway.
So main building is part of the Illinois Institute of Technology, we call IIT. IIT's main building was one of those iconic buildings that you see from almost every vantage point, especially from the Dan Ryan Expressway. But it's recently had some structural issues with some of the masonry on the outside of the building, and this has caused IIT, who's been really terrific about trying to restore a lot of its iconic Mies buildings, to question whether this building really fits into its overall future. And could there be a new idea for this building that would, again, engage it into that urban fabric and maybe support some of the functions that are going on at IIT as well as Comiskey. We're really supportive of what they're doing. They have an RFP out, a request for proposals, and I hear that they're getting, some interest. And we were hoping that making it one of the Chicago 7 would really open that up to a bigger audience, a diverse audience, that the Chicago 7 would highlight this building and how important it is, tell the story of IIT, tell the story about Armour Institute, tell the story about Patton and Fisher, its architects from 1891, and open that discussion and get people interested and let people know that this is one of those fabulous buildings that needs a little help right now.
Now let's go a little further south into Inglewood. You've got a former Masonic Hall at 64th and Green. Now that building has been vacant for a generation or better. What's the deal there?
Down on its luck for a long time. You're exactly right. You said a generation. That's right on the money. It's been empty. It's got an active demolition permit on it. We really thought this was the last opportunity, if you will, to really highlight this building. As you know, they've turned a shovel on the new Whole Foods that's going to rise, a block away at 63rd and Halsted. And we thought, wow, this might be a new opportunity to just look at this building one more time. It's got an amazing two facades with these, beautiful red brick, and then these amazing ionic columns or fluted stone columns that are 3 or 4 stories tall.
Those old-school, old-fashioned Masonic temples are a disappearing building type. You wish a building like this could have been reused 10 or 15 years ago because they can be put to good reuse. Like in Logan Square, you see Armitage Baptist Church. There's one example in Kedzie, which is a former hall just like this one, but is a fully functioning church.
You're absolutely right. And they're meant for big ceremonial events and fellowship events and neighborhood communities. So you're absolutely right. Armitage Baptist Church used to be the Logan Square Masonic Temple. And, of course, this is a Southside Masonic Temple. The American Indian Center on Wilson, I believe it is, on the north side, used to be a Masonic temple. And you know what? I can't think of too many others off the top of my head that are, this type of massive building. Those kind of spaces are interesting, aren't they?
Well, all right. That wraps Architecture 360 for now. Thanks again to Preservation Chicago's Ward Miller for joining us. Until next time, I'm Lee Bay.